Dankeschön, Julia. We'll do it in English because Mr. Subrata Dutta will join me for the Q&A a little later on. But before we get to that Q&A, we talk about India has been spoken about in the last 10 to 12 years as the sleeping giant of world football, and now it's sort of awoken, especially after the Under-17 World Cup, which took place last year. And I think this picture of the Indian captain Sunil Chhetri sort of captures the momentum that Indian football is having at the moment and taking it forward on where we want to go. A lot of people forget when they talk about football around the world that football in India has a very, very long tradition, 150 plus years of football in India, longer than here, for example, in Germany. The British took it with them to India, and the oldest club in Asia, Mohun Bagan, the oldest federation, is there in Kolkata, the Indian Football Association, where Mr. Dutta is also the president of, and Duran Cup, the oldest tournament outside of Britain, which is the third oldest tournament after the English and Scottish FA Cups. And, oops, sorry, my mistake. And we go on. One of the catchphrases which has caught up over the last 3-4 years is "Come on India, let's football." A catchphrase which has come with the Indian Super League, which has been around since 2014, and it's one of those interesting issues which we'll discuss a little later on in our Q&A, because India is the only country where officially and formally FIFA, as the world body, has allowed, as well as the Asian Football Confederation, for 2 leagues to run in parallel this season, which means that the Indian Super League, which is the new league, which is more of a tournament which is now grown into a proper league with 10 teams playing in it over a 4-month period, as well as the I-League, which is like the Bundesliga or the Premier League, which has been around for over 20 years, since 1996. And something which has happened over the last 2-3 years, Prime Minister Modi, who's trying to do campaigns like Make in India and other things, has been pushing for the sport of football, because he's realized that football is the only global game, and be it at BRICS Summit or other political events, he's realized is that football is something which is being talked about also at the political level. He's done that also with the German Chancellor Angela Merkel, and the Under-17 World Cup last year would not have been possible without the support of the government of India. And when we come to the Under-17 World Cup last year in India, it's one of those records which really stand out. Before that, the record was for an Under-20 World Cup in China. The Under-17 World Cup in India last year is the most attended FIFA youth tournament. And just to give you a number, Germany versus Brazil quarterfinal in Kolkata, England versus Brazil semi-final in Kolkata, as well as the final Spain versus England. Over 66,000 people in the stadium, sellout matches, and over 1 million ticket requests on the FIFA website. The FIFA website actually broke down for a couple of matches. So you had this number of 1.347 and 133 people officially attending the tournament. Many more would have done it if it would have been possible. And there is a German connection, and some of you might be surprised that the logo of VfL Bochum turns up as the first one. Bochum was in India in 1986. There's supposedly, I wasn't there, I was too young at the time, but I've heard stories about brilliant goal by Carlos Fischer, bicycle kick as he used to do. But if you see the numbers, of course, especially FC Bayern München has been in India quite regularly, quite often, from 2005 to 2012. That picture is from the testimonial match of the long-time India captain Bhatia Bhutia. Bayern has played twice with its first team, twice with its second team, and once with its legends. And the other legendary match, of course, 2008, Oliver Kahn's final match, officially in a Bayern Munich shirt, in front of 125,000 people in Calcutta. And recently, 1860 Munich played with their under-23s in a tournament in India, besides also the German FA sending over its student national team. Now, when you come to speak about India and about popularity of football and about the leagues which are there, we have our own leagues with the Super League as well as with the I-League. It's very, very clear that, like in the rest of Asia, most of the rest of Asia, that the Premier League is the most followed league in India. And it's made its mark, it does its events. It interacts, it has a partnership with the Super League. So from that perspective, the Premier League certainly is very, very present in the market. Second, we've been doing a lot of push in the recent times is the Spanish La Liga, where La Liga now has an office in Delhi. They screened the El Clasico for the second time in December in Delhi, in front of 13,000 people, on a very, very cool Delhi evening. And then of course there is the Bundesliga with a certain connect which India does have to Germany. Generally, made in Germany of course is a big tagline in the market as well. And Hoffenheim is played in India, and I love this quote, not myself, but the people who I work with love this quote from Hoffenheim captain Eugen Polanski. And Incredible India, of course, is the tagline of the government of India's tourism policy, and I think this was one thing which was very, very special in a small state called Mizoram, where people would say, do they really follow football? 400,000 people live over there, which is a minuscule number for India. But you had, in a stadium which fits 5,000 people, 10,000 tickets sold, 15,000 people in the stadium, and another 20,000 people who wanted to turn up, and it was Hoffenheim. And now people say Roberto Firmino played in our place, so there is a real connect which has been there, or Niklas Süle playing at Bayern, so there is a certain connect which has been created. And yeah, with that I would like to end my short presentation and start into India, so to give you the background, and I would like